Hi guys, my name is Courtney Parson and I am vaccinated against COVID-19. I know a lot of you are shaking your heads thinking, oh no, here we go again, more vaccine talk. I was that way too. I didn't think it was necessary for me to get a vaccine. I was thinking to myself, I'm young, I'm in my early 40s. I don't need a vaccine. I'm healthy. I don't have any major health problems. I also wasn't a big fan of putting a new vaccine into my body. What if the side effects are going to make me have cancer? Or what if there's poisonous substances they're putting in my body that we don't know about yet because this vaccine hasn't been out that long? That all changed in November of 2020. My two grandmothers, who I was very close to, both died in November, 2 weeks apart actually. And my ex-father in law also died of COVID. All three of them were diagnosed with COVID, and all three of them were not vaccinated because, unfortunately, at that time, the vaccine wasn't available. On the other side of that coin, we have a 33-year-old friend who is relatively healthy as far as we knew, and he was not vaccinated and had the choice of being vaccinated. And he is now in the ICU on a vent. So, some common statistics I would like to share with you about COVID-19 related to deaths and serious cases, which are very disturbing. More than 500,000 people in the United States have died from COVID-19. 99% of people who have died from COVID-19 were not vaccinated. The states with the least amount of people vaccinated, which is relatively the southern states mostly, are filling up the ICUs the quickest to the point where they are running out of beds. So that's very scary to me because that proves that the vaccine is obviously working, because the states that have the least amount of vaccinated people are the ones that are spreading it and getting the sickest. Some common myths about the vaccine that I want to share with you are it can cause impotence or problems getting pregnant. That's one myth that I've heard a lot about, and I actually was very scared to have my son, who is 16, and my other son, who is 12, get the vaccine because of this myth. However, when researching it, this was a rumor that went on social media that is proven incorrect and is completely unfounded. So that is not true. It does not cause any type of problem getting pregnant. It is perfectly healthy for a woman who is pregnant actually to get the vaccine. And another myth I've heard a lot of is it prevents you from getting COVID-19. And I actually thought that was true too. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to get it when I did finally decide to get it. However, that was changed when I found out from my doctor that that's incorrect, and also on the internet, looking at the FDA website, that it doesn't prevent you from getting it, but it does cause you to have way less severe symptoms and obviously prevent you from dying. I mean, 99% of cases that have passed away didn't have the vaccine. So if that's not enough proof, I don't know what there is. Another myth is if you're young and healthy, you don't need the vaccine. And that's actually incorrect, because younger people are more likely to spread and carry the virus and not even know that they have it. I work at a preschool room, and my little preschoolers are, germ factories. They can spread that virus like no other and have no symptoms. Obviously, they cannot get the vaccine, but their parents and their siblings that are older, above 12, can get the vaccine, and that prevents them from getting it because their siblings and parents have the vaccine and are less likely to contract it. The last myth that I've heard a lot is if you have already had it, you don't need to get the vaccine, and that's actually incorrect and has been proven because people have been getting it twice. I actually have people in my family that have gotten it twice and are now vaccinated because of that. The other thing is there's all these variants that are coming out now, which are very scary, and they are actually making the symptoms worse. And so we can't really determine whether the one, time of having that vaccine is going to make us immune to the next type of COVID response. Some other more strange myths regarding the vaccine that I've heard are, the vaccine contains a data chip. They don't contain microchips. There's no data chip in them. Vaccines are developed to fight against diseases, and they're not administered to track your movement. There's a lot of data tracked by the FDA that shows adverse effects of the vaccine. And that's actually not true either. If you look on the FDA site, they actually say specifically that there is no proof. They don't report it. However, they allow people to report their incidences of symptoms that they've had that were adverse symptoms from the vaccine, but there has been no documented proof that those symptoms have been directly related to the vaccine. So it's kind of hard to decipher what was caused from that vaccine and what could have been caused from other problems or other viruses or other things that have been going around. So that's not a documented thing, and there's honestly not a lot of data on that as far as people having adverse reactions to it. Another thing I've heard is, the vaccine is live and it can get you sick or you can contract COVID from it. And that's actually the opposite of that because it's actually not alive. Instead, it's a protein. It boosts your immune response and helps protect you from the virus itself. So they're injecting a type of protein that actually your body's immune system fights against it. And therefore, when you are around somebody that has COVID-19, your body is going to fight it easier. You may still have some symptoms of it, but you're not going to get as sick as somebody who doesn't have the vaccine, per se. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the safety of the vaccine because I know a lot of people are worried about getting the vaccine because of different rumors they've heard, like I've already mentioned, and also just wondering if it's safe. Is there data that proves it's safe? So far, millions of people in the United States have received the COVID-19 vaccine and under the most intense safety monitoring in U.S. history. So, in other words, we've had more monitoring for this COVID-19 vaccine to date than we've ever had in this amount of time. So, no one has actually died from getting the vaccine. The only people that are dying are people that don't have the vaccine. So, that's a huge reason to get the vaccine, in my mind. To prevent the spread of deadly virus, that's one of the biggest reasons you should vaccinate. Also, to prevent yourself from dying or getting very ill from the virus. Both of those reasons are very good reasons to vaccinate. I, for one, want to be here for my children and my grandchildren, and I'm not willing to play Russian roulette with my life or my children's lives or my mom's life. My mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer recently, and it was actually right after my 2 grandmothers passed away from COVID, ironically. And so I want to protect her. I want to be able to see my mom in a few years when this threat is over. I want her to not get sick from COVID because honestly, if she got sick from COVID, she could die. She is vaccinated. I am vaccinated. My 12-year-old and my 16-year-old child are vaccinated. And I'll tell you what, recently, my daughter, actually a couple weeks ago, my daughter and I both were around somebody that had COVID. It was actually my fiance. He did not have the vaccine and he was very sick. He had very high fevers and horrible body aches and shaking and just felt horrible. Sore throat, every symptom you can think of, pretty much related to having a serious case of COVID besides going into the hospital. I mean, he got pretty close. He couldn't breathe. He was having trouble breathing. All of those things happened to him and he was not vaccinated. My daughter and I also contracted it. We tested positive for it a week and a half ago. And as you can hear, I'm not really out of breath. I might have a little bit of tiredness still from it. However, the only real symptom I had was a headache for a few days. And I am vaccinated. My daughter exhibited a fever for 1 day. She was not vaccinated, so she's not a very good example of why to not get vaccinated because she's only 7. But she is younger and she obviously carries it. So even though she may show no symptoms of it, she could still give it to somebody else that would show symptoms and be deathly ill from it. So there is 2 very good reasons of why you should get the vaccine. Obviously, it's protecting me because I only got those minor symptoms, and my boyfriend, who was not protected, got deathly ill. And now I can tell you what, he's definitely going to be getting the vaccine as soon as he's allowed to. So lastly, I just want to say, please get vaccinated. It could save your life. Your life is worth it. Your family members' lives are worth it. It's a great thing to do. And really, there isn't any reason not to get vaccinated. The only reason I can think of is if you have some type of illness that it could possibly interfere with, but there isn't really too many things that I can think of that would apply to. I've looked it up online and there is a few very rare things that, there is some things that can cause other problems with vaccines, but this vaccine has had no adverse side effects that have killed anybody or done anything huge or terrible to anybody. So to me, the good outweighs the bad. And if you want to protect yourself and others, I recommend going and getting vaccinated. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it. Bye bye.